As you can see, I'm totally ready to kill Komodo dragon aliens on the Great Wall. I've got my period piece sword and my black powder weapon. Let's jam. Hello and welcome back to another Midnight Showing. As always, I'm Kelly and I just got out of the Great Wall. And I'm not going to lie, I really enjoyed this one, but it is getting slammed by basically everybody right now. I think last time I checked, the Rotten Tomatoes said it was at 32%, which is pretty damn bad. And I kind of get it. Yeah, this is going to be another one of the DC films where I get why people are having problems with it, but they are exaggerating these problems to a degree that is almost shocking, because this came out the same day as the fucking Cure for Wellness, and that was a lot worse than this film. So before we go on, let's just give a small premise real fast. It's pretty simplistic. If you've seen the trailer, it's basically what you get. So the movie stars Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal. I hope I pronounced that right. I apologize if I didn't. But they are two mercenaries who are looking for the mysterious black powder, as we know today, gunpowder. They cross the desert to find the Great Wall, where, lo and behold, they use black powder weapons. But they're using them to fight something else. And that something else is an alien Komodo dragon looking thing that appears every 60 years or so to attack. And that's why they built the Great Wall, to fend it off. And that's the premise. So, what was good about this, what was bad? Before we do that, just the controversies that need to get out of the way. And I'm going to do them very quick and not rant about them because, frankly speaking, the people who are talking about them are idiots who have not actually seen this film. So, okay, first things first. This is a 100% Chinese production. And this is a big deal in Hollywood because having a fully Chinese production that is being distributed westernly by a Western corporation is a very big rarity, and it really does show that they're taking kind of the hit to the teeth with this production. Why do I bring that up? I bring that up because people are calling this a whitewashed piece of trash because it stars a white guy and a Hispanic man in China. They did that to sell the movie, guys. Even in China, they want their movies to make money. And in order to make money to the rest of the world, you're going to have to star people that we like. And apparently, from what I hear, even in China, Matt Damon is a pretty big name down there. So, yeah, it's just to sell the movie. So that brings in another issue. Does this just make it a white savior movie where the white guy has to save everybody? No. In fact, they don't really do much more than the rest of the soldiers. Don't get me wrong, they established that Matt Damon is a far superior archer to anybody they've got on staff, but really, you're fighting beings that can take an entire quiver of arrows and not die. So, what is one archer really going to do? And don't think I forgot about Matt Damon's friend. He does have his own fighting style with twin swords and axes here and there, but he's no better than anybody else. Really, the movie is more of a redemption story for Matt Damon, with his friend kind of playing the devil on his shoulder at times versus this army that's trying to get him to do something more than just be a mercenary. So, no whitewashing and no white savior movie. Why the fuck are you guys freaking out? Seriously, go watch the fucking film before you actually post something on the internet, please. Yeah, I know that was a bit of a tangent, so let's just talk about the movie itself, starting with now, the premise of this movie is really interesting to me because I've seen this premise a lot, being more of an anime guy, and not to mention I actually do watch a lot of Western things, that this style of siege where they're against some big alien or mystical or some kind of threat behind a wall to save humanity, it does come up every now and then. It's not a bad thing. As I said, this is a 100% Chinese production, and it feels like it. You've got people doing kung fu shit. You've got people bungee jumping off the wall to stab these monsters as they're trying to climb up it. I mean, you've got some really, really intense, awesome action bits because they kept the premise very simple and narrow and focused. Whenever there's action on this screen, I was glued to the screen. It is mesmerizing. It is beautiful. The cinematography here is very, very well executed. The 3D, I wish I'd seen this in 3D because I could see where they put 3D effects. And I just want to know how that would have looked because it's just so beautiful. Okay, let's also talk about one aspect. I just loved how much fucking color was on screen. Every single one of the army is divided into different colored aspects. You know, you have your black foot soldiers, you've got your red armor archers, you've got your blue armor crane soldiers who jump down, and then you got the yellow armor for artillery who are launching like fire catapults going over. And everything just looks so beautiful on screen. The colors meshing with each other. It really is a trip to go watch. And speaking of the armor, it's all very intricate, all very complicated, and it seemed like it was all handcrafted. You know, it's that kind of armor that anybody who actively looks for cosplaying or costumes or anything, I think this is the kind of thing that I would want to wear just going to a convention, or if I had to go into battle. You know, give me the girl's crane outfit, the blue armor with the freaking bird design on the helmet and whatnot. I would love that shit. Please. Just give me a man's version of that, please. I don't need the woman's version. I just want them aborting this joke. As you can tell with my description of the armor, you can tell the effort that went into a lot of these practical effects. There is a ton of CGI in this film, but there's a lot of practical as well. And one of the things that made the practical work so well is that because it was so stylized, especially with the armor, they could switch them out for CGI doubles, and they did it pretty seamlessly. I only caught it a few times, and mostly with the crane people when they're jumping off of the wall to stab something. But there are times when they jump them off the wall and they just stab a monster. It's actually a person there. So yeah, it really does know how to mix the practical with the CGI. Also, I would just like to say that 95% of this cast knows what they're working with. It's not perfect per se acting wise, and we'll talk more about it in the next section. But the people that were on point, especially the Asian actors, they really were on point. And I personally I know other people didn't get drawn into them very much, but I come from an anime background. And that was kind of where I was going into this movie with. Looking at them from the perspective of, this is more Eastern, less Western. So let's actually look at the Eastern type scenarios here. And I have to say that Pedro Pascal and Matt Damon had some pretty damn impressive chemistry with each other. You truly did believe that they were friends who had met in some distant war and now were desperately trying to seek something that would basically make their lives, well, perfect for the rest of their lives. But with all that said, I guess that we should probably talk about what the critics are complaining about. First things first, I said that the action is pretty damn impressive in this film. And that is to be said. The problem is that every other scene that's not action, which admittedly is only about 30% of the film, drags pretty badly. This movie has great action. Does not really know how to do much of anything else. Outside of the action scenes or the occasional back and forth between Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal, honestly, you're gonna fall asleep. It's pretty generic. You know basically everything there is to know about these aliens, so there's no real intrigue there. I mean, other than apparently magnets put them to sleep. And there's no one inside of the army that really has a defined awesome character type moment that makes you really connect with them. The closest we get is Commander Ling, but that's only because she kind of forms a pseudo romance relationship with Matt Damon that never really gets followed up on. So, point? And while we're sitting here complaining about characters, Matt Damon, what the fuck was up with your accent? It's kind of Scottish, but like it's Scottish mixed with some form of American, but this is supposed to be taking place in the 11th century, if I remember right, which is 300, 400 years before America. So what? Just occasionally his line reading will come off very odd. Like it's too gruff for what he was apparently told to say. It's probably the easiest thing to make fun of since Christian Bale's Batman voice. It just sounds so off. Granted, Matt Damon's character isn't meant to have too many long monologues, and his voice, whatever he was doing, suited better when he was just yelling out one or two lines. Maybe going, no, he's dead. Versus, kind of what I'm doing, back and forth, talking continuously, nonstop type scenario. That was most of his dialogue. It's just when he was trying to do something else, it wasn't working. Oh yeah, also, Willem Dafoe's in the movie. I don't know why either. Okay, all jokes aside, I got what they were trying to do with Willem Dafoe. The whole point of the movie is basically them trying to get black powder, but Matt Damon, finally feeling like something matters. He could actually get into this fight. He could do some good. He could help these people. He could save humanity. But there's always that constant reminder that both his friend and Willem Dafoe are coming up with a plan to steal the black powder weapons and run away while everyone's distracted with the battle. And that was Willem Dafoe's function. He was supposed to be the devil on the shoulder, reminding you that you're greedy and you're a mercenary, and this is how we have to be. We shall kill Spider-Man. Okay, he's not that crazy in this film, but there were moments. But really, I had to ask logistics with this character. So it's established in the movie that if you know the secret about the creatures, then you're not allowed to leave the Great Wall. So why didn't they just execute Willem Dafoe? He was caught trying to steal black powder from them. He doesn't give any help or support to anybody during the actual battles. He's just there. I mean, seriously, Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal establish themselves pretty badassly when they have to be put on the wall during the attack. Their bonds are cut, and instead of running away, they actually help, and they save a lot of people. They establish that these guys have done something to benefit this army. What has Willem Dafoe done? We never see him pick up even a sword in this movie. If he was supposed to be part of the armory people, helping with them launching fireballs and shit, being that he does know so much about the black powder and whatnot, I could get that. And it would even explain how he was able to stock up and store so much of these black powder weapons to get them through all the fucking doors. But we never see that, so why was he here? Also, this whole plot about them stealing the black powder, it gets in the way of the main plot, which is the monsters attacking everything. During the final battle, when they've broken through the wall and they're invading the capital of China, everybody's dying left and right. Matt Damon's on a makeshift air balloon with a bunch of other people trying to get over there in time to save everything. It randomly cuts to Willem Dafoe and Pascal running away, betraying each other, Dafoe dying, and Pascal getting captured by the Royal Guard, who should be back at the city that's being under attack. Continuity issue? And really, they try to bring more gravitas to the situation than it actually deserves, and frankly speaking, really it would have just been better if we never see Pascal or Dafoe until after everything's said and done, and they just get captured trying to get away after the whole battle is taken care of. We wouldn't even need to see them get captured or Willem Dafoe die. Just have Pascal in chains inside there and say that the mercenaries caught up with them and killed Dafoe. That's all you really have to do, and that probably would have been better. Now, with all that said, you might think that maybe the critics are right and that this movie is shit. Let's actually get down to that. This movie is an action epic with a B-movie type feeling plot to it. It's not meant to be some grand, majestic piece of art. It's meant to be popcorn fodder with really, really goddamn nice visuals. And considering how many of those I see every year, this is actually one of the better one of them. It had great people behind it. It had some missteps, and I really want to see more from these guys in terms of just seeing what they can do visually if that's all that they really want to get praised for. So in conclusion, I personally feel that most all the critics are really, really just digging into this and throwing everything they can at it, even though it's really not that bad. It's not perfect, but personally, I could recommend, and I do, seeing it at a discounted theater price. It's not quite worth a full price admission ticket in my opinion, and it's not a must-see by any stretch of the imagination. But if you're just bored and you want to go throw $6 at a theater, this is something that you're not going to regret. It's got so many beautiful visuals that you're going to be enthralled with them, even if you do kind of lose focus during the slower moments. The fact is that it ends on such a high note, especially with the final battle. I don't really see you walking out of here disappointed. And yeah, that's it for me. Have you seen The Great Wall? Tell me what you thought about it in the comments down below. Maybe we'll get some healthy discussion going. And as always, if you like what you see, be sure to the like button, the share button, and subscribe for more. Be sure to follow me on the Facebooks, the Twitters, the Twitches, all that stuff. I am going to be doing some stuff on Twitch, so follow Facebook to get the schedule on that. I'll try to put it on Twitter too, but I don't know how well that's going to work. And yeah, that's it for me, so I'll see you all next time.